Good evening. This is All India Radio and I am Gaura Dhawanlal and with me is Gaurav Sharma with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat for all-round growth and development of nation, urges startups to come together to manufacture toys to make India a world hub for toy production. In Mann Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi highlights importance of public participation in nutrition movement. Prime Minister exhorts students and teachers to bring to fore stories of unsung heroes of freedom struggle. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to over 76%. And Finance Ministry asks banks to refund charges collected on electronic transactions after 1st of January this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a clarion call to citizens of the country to become self-reliant in every area. Addressing the nation in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio, Mr. Modi stressed the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat for all-round growth and development of the nation. He said Indians, especially Generation Next, have a lot to offer in terms of innovation and solutions, and that we should harness this potential for a better tomorrow. The Prime Minister cited how, at the beginning of this month, the nation's youth participated enthusiastically in the Atmanirbhar Bharat App Innovation Challenge. He said around 7,000 entries were received, out of which two-thirds were from youth of Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान में वर्चुअल गेम्स हो, टॉयज का सेक्टर हो, सबने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभानी है और ये अवसर भी है। जब आज से 100 वर्ष पहले असहयोग आंदोलन शुरू हुआ तो गांधी जी ने लिखा था कि असहयोग आंदोलन देशवासियों में आत्मसम्मान और अपनी शक्ति का बोध कराने का एक प्रयास है। आज जब हम देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं तो हमें पूरे आत्मविश्वास के साथ आगे बढ़ना है। हर क्षेत्र में देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाना है। असहयोग आंदोलन के रूप में जो बीज बोया गया था उसे अब आत्मनिर्भर भारत के वटवृक्ष में परिवर्तित करना हम सबका दायित्व है।
The Prime Minister called upon young talent in the country to make computer games in India and based on India. He said that there can be games based on the country's rich history. He said the virtual gaming and toy sectors have a very important role to play in the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign.
कई और एप्स ने भी इस चैलेंज को जीता है। कई बिजनेस एप्स हैं, गेम्स के एप्स हैं, जैसे इज इक्वल टू बुक्स एंड एक्सपेंस, जोहो वर्कप्लेस, एफटीसी टैलेंट। आप इनके बारे में नेट पर सर्च करिए, आपको बहुत जानकारी मिलेगी। आप भी आगे आए, कुछ इनोवेट करें, कुछ इम्प्लीमेंट करें। आपके प्रयास आज के छोटे छोटे स्टार्टअप्स कल बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों में बदलेंगे और दुनिया में भारत की पहचान बनेंगे। और आप ये मत भूलिए कि आज जो दुनिया में बहुत बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां नजर आती है ना, वे भी कभी स्टार्टअप हुआ करती थी।
The Prime Minister urged startups to come together and manufacture toys to make India a hub for toy production. The Prime Minister emphasized the need to promote local toys and said it is time to go vocal for local toys.
भारत के कुछ क्षेत्र टॉय क्लस्टर्स यानी खिलौने के केंद्र के रूप में भी विकसित हो रहे हैं, जैसे कर्नाटक के रामनगरम में चन्नापटना, आंध्र प्रदेश के कृष्णा में कोंडापल्ली, तमिलनाडु में तंजौर, असम में धुबरी, उत्तर प्रदेश का वाराणसी, कई ऐसे स्थान हैं। आपको ये जानकर आश्चर्य होगा कि ग्लोबल टॉय इंडस्ट्री 7 लाख करोड़ रुपए से भी अधिक की है, लेकिन भारत का हिस्सा उसमें बहुत कम है। गृह उद्योग हो, छोटे और लघु उद्योग हो, एमएसएमई हो, इसके साथ साथ बड़े उद्योग और निजी उद्यमी भी इसके दायरे में आते हैं। इसे आगे बढ़ाने के लिए देश को मिलकर मेहनत करनी होगी।
During the program, the Prime Minister also lauded the role of the farmers in the trying times of the corona pandemic. He said sowing of kharif crops has increased by 7% compared to the last year in the country.
हमारे देश में इस बार खरीफ की फसल की बुआई पिछले साल के मुकाबले 7% ज्यादा हुई है। धान की रुपाई इस बार लगभग 10%, दालें लगभग 5%, मोटे अनाज, कोर्स सीरियल्स लगभग 3%, ऑयल सीड्स लगभग 13%, कपास लगभग 3% ज्यादा बोई गई है। मैं इसके लिए देश के किसानों को बधाई देता हूं, उनके परिश्रम को नमन करता हूं।
Mr. Modi said a Bharatiya Krishi Kosh is being set up which will have complete information about the crops that are grown in each district and their related nutritional value. Stating that September will be observed as Nutrition Month in the entire nation, he called for an increased focus on the value of quality nutrition. Mr. Modi highlighted the importance of public participation in the nutrition movement.
न्यूट्रिशन के इस आंदोलन में पीपल पार्टिसिपेशन भी बहुत जरूरी है। जन भागीदारी ही इसको सफल करती है। पिछले कुछ वर्षों में इस दिशा में देश में काफी प्रयास किए गए हैं। खासकर हमारे गांवों में इसे जन भागीदारी से जन आंदोलन बनाया जा रहा है। पोषण सप्ताह हो, पोषण माह हो, इनके माध्यम से ज्यादा जागरूकता पैदा की जा रही है। स्कूलों को जोड़ा गया है। बच्चों के लिए प्रतियोगिताएं हो, उनमें अवेयरनेस बढ़े, इसके लिए भी लगातार प्रयास जारी हैं। जैसे क्लास में एक क्लास मॉनिटर होता है, उसी तरह न्यूट्रिशन मॉनिटर भी हो, रिपोर्ट कार्ड की तरह न्यूट्रिशन कार्ड भी बने।
The Prime Minister said Teachers' Day will be celebrated in a few days from now on the 5th of September. He expressed happiness that not only have teachers accepted the challenges posed by the pandemic, but have also turned it into an opportunity. The Prime Minister highlighted that the national education policy is bringing about a tectonic shift in the nation, and teachers will play a significant role in disseminating its benefits to the students.
ये बहुत आवश्यक है कि हमारी आज की पीढ़ी, हमारे विद्यार्थी आजादी की जंग, हमारे देश के नायकों से परिचित रहे, उसे उतना ही महसूस करें। अपने जिले से, अपने क्षेत्र में आजादी के आंदोलन के समय क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कौन शहीद हुआ, कौन कितने समय तक देश के लिए जेल में रहा, ये बातें हमारे विद्यार्थी जानेंगे तो उनके व्यक्तित्व में भी इसका प्रभाव दिखेगा। इसके लिए बहुत से काम किए जा सकते हैं, जिसमें हमारे शिक्षकों का बड़ा दायित्व है। जैसे आप जिस जिले में हैं, वहाँ शताब्दियों तक जो आजादी का जंग चला, इसे लेकर विद्यार्थियों से रिसर्च करवाई जा सकती है।
India will celebrate its 75th year of independence in 2022. Mr. Modi said that it is imperative that today's generation remains familiar with the heroes of India's freedom struggle. He asked students to research about the freedom struggle in their own districts and areas. The Prime Minister said this period is full of festivals, fairs and religious ceremonies. He said it is heartening to see people celebrating festivals and also observing discipline due to the COVID pandemic. Mr. Modi highlighted that Indian festivals are deeply connected with the environment. He pointed out that in the West Champaran district of Bihar, people belonging to the Saru tribal community have been observing a 60-hour lockdown for centuries. Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has informed that in line with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, toy and puppet making skills will be developed among school students. He said indigenous toy making will be introduced as a theme in Kala Utsav to encourage students to explore and develop a variety of local toys. Dr. Nishank also called for initiating puppet shows in Kala Utsav for secondary and higher secondary students.
Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Steel, Dharmendra Pradhan, has said that the PM Swanidhi scheme is helping street vendors and small traders become self-reliant. He said more than 1 lakh loans have been sanctioned under the scheme since its launch in July 2020. The minister said Odisha has been among the top 10 states to benefit from the PM Swanidhi scheme. He added that collateral-free loans up to 10,000 rupees have been provided to street vendors in Sambalpur, Cuttack, Behrampur, Baleshwar and other towns of Odisha. In a series of tweets, the minister highlighted a number of people-centric programs of the government, including the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, and said that the program has alleviated suffering and has been a boon for the poor. The Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana reflects the sensitivity of the Modi government towards the common man, he added. In our series Atmanirbhar Bharat today, we bring you a special story on community sanitary complexes. In the last 6 years, the government has specifically focused on cleanliness and making the country open defecation free. Over 2,900 community sanitary complexes have been constructed so far under the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan to foster cognitive development of healthy sanitation practices in the community. A sanitary toilet complex is an infrastructure for use by the community or floating population. It takes care of the safe disposal or reuse of human waste in addition to the objective of providing a toilet facility that enhances privacy and dignity. The government launched a massive employment-cum-rural public works campaign named Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan in June this year to empower and provide livelihood opportunities in areas of villages witnessing a large number of returnee migrant workers affected by the pandemic. 25 work areas have been identified for employment in villages for the development of various works, one of which is the construction of community toilets. The government has always said that moving the country towards being open defecation free is the biggest service towards health. According to a World Health Organization report, nearly 3 lakh children in India were saved because of the Swachh Bharat mission.
Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari laid the foundation stone and inaugurated national highway projects worth 777 crore rupees in Gadchiroli district of Maharashtra today. The inauguration took place through video conferencing, in which the Minister for State for Road Transport, General V.K. Singh, and the State PWD Minister Ashok Chavan also participated in the event. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari laid the foundation stone of 4 major bridges in the Gadchiroli district. He also inaugurated a major bridge of 4.3 kilometers on Pranhita River and a 20-kilometer long major bridge across Indravati River. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gadkari lauded the efforts taken by the engineers, contractors and police administration for executing and cooperating in these construction works amid Naxal threats. He said newly constructed all-weather roads and bridges will play a main role in connecting the Naxal-affected regions of Maharashtra, Telangana and Chhattisgarh.
ये देश का ऐसा जिला है कि जहां नक्सलवादी मूवमेंट का एक प्रकार से कैपिटल बन गया था और उस क्षेत्र में रास्ते न होने के कारण विशेष रूप से नक्सलवाद और पनप रहा। ये जो कार्य हुआ है इससे निश्चित रूप से छत्तीसगढ़, महाराष्ट्र और तेलंगाना इनमें पूरा जो नक्सलग्रस्त इलाका है उसको जोड़ने में इसकी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहेगी। ये काम पूरा करने के लिए 163.30 करोड़ रुपए खर्चा हुए और 6 किलोमीटर का रास्ता भी है और ये करीब 170 करोड़ रुपए का काम हुआ है।
The minister also inaugurated a 33-kilometer all-weather road connecting the remote tribals and Naxal-affected areas of Gadchiroli and Gondia district. India and ASEAN countries have agreed to review the free trade agreement to make it more user-friendly, simple and facilitative. The review will make the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement modern with contemporary trade facilitative practices, streamlined customs and regulatory procedures. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, while co-chairing the 17th ASEAN-India Economic Ministers consultation, said the free trade agreement has to be mutually beneficial and a win-win for all sides.
The Bharatiya Janata Party has decided to celebrate Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday on September 17th by observing Seva Saptah from the 14th to the 20th of September. The Prime Minister will turn 70 this year. In a tweet, Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh informed this decision to celebrate Seva Saptah. The decision has been taken to avoid any major celebration or mass gathering due to the coronavirus pandemic. Our correspondent reports, to observe the Seva Saptah, which is a way to extend help, the party will be distributing masks, sanitizers and medicines. Supporters would also be encouraged to hold blood donation camps. A junior commissioned officer, JCO, of the army was martyred in a fresh exchange of firing between Indian and Pakistani armies along the line of control in Naushera sector of Rajouri district today. PRO Defence Colonel Davinder Anand said that the slain soldier was posted on a forward post of Kalsiyan sector. The Indian Army was giving a befitting reply to the Pakistan side, and the exchange of fire continued till reports last came in.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called for providing special care and support to the elderly in the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, highlighting the higher degree of risk faced by older people in health emergencies. He also advised youngsters and other family members to take extra precautions related to COVID-19 if there are elderly members at home. In his posts on a social media platform today on the issues pertaining to the elderly population in India, the Vice President said that geriatric departments in district hospitals to look after the health issues of elderly are very few. The Vice President also called for providing the elderly easy and barrier-free access to public places. He also stressed on the need to focus on creating awareness and sensitizing the government officials and the public on issues pertaining to the elderly. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat for all-round growth and development of the nation, urges startups to come together to manufacture toys to make India a world hub for toy production. In the Man Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi highlights the importance of public participation in nutrition movement. Prime Minister exhorts students and teachers to bring to the fore stories of unsung heroes of the freedom struggle. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to over 76%, and Finance Ministry asks banks to refund charges collected on electronic transactions after the 1st of January this year. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The recovery rate of patients from COVID-19 in the country continues its upward trend and has improved to 76.61% today. The total number of patients recovered so far is more than 3.5 times the number of active cases. Nearly 65,000 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative recoveries in the country to 27,13,933. The Health Ministry has said that over 78,000 new cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative figure to 35,42,734. In a single day, 948 deaths have also been reported, taking the toll to 63,498. India achieved a milestone of conducting the highest number of COVID tests by testing over 10,50,000 samples in the last 24 hours. The country has witnessed a significant stepping up of its COVID testing capacity in the last 5 months. So far, with an overall testing figure of nearly 4,14,61,000, the nation has also been able to maintain a remarkably low positivity rate of around 8.5%. In another remarkable feat, all states and union territories have surpassed the 140 tests per day per million population as advised by the WHO. Union Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla has asserted that the centre would continue to support all initiatives of the northeastern states in containing the COVID-19 pandemic. Talking to AIR, Mr. Bhalla said that central teams have visited the high-incidence states. He said that the northeastern states have performed well in containing the situation, but still appealed to people to be careful. Mr. Bhalla said that after consultation it was learned that parents don't want to send children to schools unless there is a vaccine. He said the government would try to open schools and colleges when the situation further improves. However, there are certain relaxations given to school activities in Unlock 4. The Home Secretary mentioned that improvements in economic activities are visible in the country and the whole country needs to cooperate to ensure it. He said that all states have confirmed that national highways are open for movement of goods.
National highways are already open, especially for movement of goods. All states have confirmed to us that they are keeping the national highways movement of goods open. Some states restrictions say for movement of personnel from outside the state or from within inter-district. You have a system, you need testing, you do testing and all. Then there are facilities of quarantine and all. National highways cannot be closed.
Mr. Bhalla urged people not to panic but follow the health guidelines, including wearing masks and social distancing.
A total of 2,024 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 1,73,000. Delhi government has said over 1,54,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 1,249 people recovered and 22 deaths were reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 4,426. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the national capital is 14,793. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the government is firmly fighting against COVID-19 and the state is comparatively in a much better stage. He said corona positivity and death rate are at a lower side in the state. The Chief Minister was talking to the media at Gorakhpur today. Yogi Adityanath also said there is a sharp decline in the number of patients and deaths due to acute encephalitis syndrome and Japanese encephalitis syndrome, including other vector-borne diseases, after the Swachh Bharat mission and the cleanliness drives in the state. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
After detecting 6,233 new cases, the total number of corona cases in the state has reached to 2,25,632. The death toll has touched 3,423 with 67 fresh casualties in a day. According to Health Department, the recovery rate was 74.25%. The fatality rate for COVID-19 is decreased to 1.52% in the state. Additional Chief Secretary Health Amit Mohan Prasad said the number of recovered patients have reached 1,67,543. The total number of COVID tests in the state was 54,90,354. MS Yadav, Yaya News, Lucknow.
In Nagaland, 109 COVID-19 patients have recovered, while 71 new cases have been detected today. The recovery rate of corona-affected people in the state has improved to 76.93%. The total number of COVID-19 cases has reached 3,922, out of which 887 are active cases. A total of 3,017 people have recovered from the disease, while 8 have lost their lives so far. In Tamil Nadu, a series of relaxations have been announced with effect from the 1st of September. The e-pass system for inter-district travel within the state has been dispensed with. For interstate travel, the e-pass will be auto-generated after applying through a portal meant for it. A statement from Chief Minister Edappadi Palanisamy says the decision on the relaxations have been taken based on the assessment of the ground situation in the state and to safeguard the livelihood interests of the public. More from our correspondent.
The Karnataka State BJP President Nalin Kumar Katil, who is also the Member of Parliament from Dakshin Kannada constituency, has tested positive for COVID-19 today. The state reported 8,852 new COVID cases and 106 deaths due to coronavirus today. At the same time, 7,101 people were discharged after recovery from the infection. The total COVID tests conducted in the state stand at 66,957. The Karnataka Director General of Police and IGP, Praveen Sood, flagged off a cycle rally today in Bengaluru to create awareness about plasma donation from those cured of the coronavirus. He informed that 167 cured police personnel will be donating their plasma. Kerala continues to report a surge in the COVID cases as 2,154 people tested positive for COVID-19 today. 1,766 recoveries were also reported today. The total number of active cases in the state has risen to 23,658. Meanwhile, the death toll in the state due to COVID reached 287 as 7 more deaths were reported today. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan today announced 100 projects in the state that will be completed in the next 100 days as part of an action plan to boost the socio-economic status of Kerala.
In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Speaking to AIR News, Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra, consultant at the Mental Health Division in Medanta Hospital, emphasized that people should indulge in positive addictions, namely reading books, music activities and exercise, including others. He said special care should be taken not to overexpose oneself to excessive COVID-related news, which leads to anxiety-related issues.
हम अपने आप को पॉजिटिव एडिक्शंस में एंगेज करें, जैसे राइटिंग, रीडिंग, क्रिएटिव आर्ट्स सच एज ड्राइंग, पेंटिंग, गार्डनिंग, इस तरीके की चीजें, दीज ऑल क्वालिफाई एज पॉजिटिव एडिक्शन. म्यूजिक, ये सब पॉजिटिव एडिक्शंस हैं. ये स्ट्रेस रिड्यूस करने में हमारा बहुत मदद करते हैं. हम सोशली कनेक्टेड रहें एक दूसरे से, टेलीफोन कॉन्वर्सेशन करें, बात करें लोगों से, सोशल मीडिया कम से कम इस्तेमाल करें.
The Finance Ministry has asked banks to immediately refund the charges collected after the 1st of January this year on transactions carried out using the electronic mode as prescribed under the IT Act. The ministry also advised banks not to impose charges on any future transactions carried out through the electronic mode. It said Central Board of Direct Taxes (CBDT) had issued a notification in this regard on the 30th of December last year. The notification says that if the transaction were carried out through RuPay card, Bheem UPI, UPI QR code and Bheem UPI QR code, no banks or system providers will impose any charges. The ministry said a new provision has been inserted in the Payment and Settlement System in the PSS Act, which states that no bank or system provider will impose any charge on a payer making a payment or a beneficiary receiving a payment through the electronic mode.
India and Russia today were announced as joint winners of the FIDE Chess Olympiad as Nihal Sarin and Divya Deshmukh lost connection to their games in the second round and had to forfeit. In a first, the Olympiad was conducted online. Originally, Russia were declared as winners, but India filed an appeal, and after investigation, both India and Russia were announced as joint winners. This is the first time that India reached the finals of the FIDE Chess Olympiad. India's best finish at the Olympiad had come in 2014 when the contingent returned with a bronze medal. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will witness partly cloudy skies with the possibility of the development of thunder and lightning. It will have a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees. Mumbai will experience generally cloudy skies with moderate rain. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 27 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy skies with light rain. The temperature will hover between 27 and 36 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness partly cloudy skies with the possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature in the metropolis will be around 28 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 35 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. The city will have mainly clear skies, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be around 15 degrees, while the maximum will be 30 degrees. The city will have mainly clear skies, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Ladakh will have mainly clear skies, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 13 and 23 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 17 and 30 degrees Celsius. It will have mainly clear skies, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat for all-round growth and development of nation, urges startups to come together to manufacture toys to make India a world hub for toy production. In Mann Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi highlights importance of public participation in nutrition movement. Prime Minister exhorts students and teachers to bring to fore stories of unsung heroes of freedom struggle. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to over 76%, and Finance Ministry asks banks to refund charges collected on electronic transactions after 1st of January this year. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.